Hey folks, it's Billy DKY, the truth seeker that simplifies and demystifies. This is going to be the anatomy of injuries and dealing with them. This video is due to Planky. He's an MMA fighter, broke his nose or hurt his nose and finally starting to heal up, and then he broke his arm and he just bummed out he can't be training, and so he wanted me to do a video on how to deal with injuries and the like. So this is going to be my video on it. And the most important thing you need to ask yourself is, why does an injury happen in the first place? And if you want to sum it up at its heart, it always happens because of carelessness in one form or another. Like let's say you're lifting weights and you're forcing you got a big ego, and that ego's making you force through the weights, you're not harming with your muscles, and boom, something snaps, or something happens over time. So that's carelessness due to the lack of understanding of how ego is causing you problems. Or it could be carelessness. You're walking along, you're not paying attention, you're goofing off with your friends, you step on a rock, boom, fall down, break your arm. Again, carelessness. Almost all accidents and injuries come about due to carelessness in one form or another. So that's the first thing you need to understand, that carelessness is what causes injuries for the most part. Okay, let's say it's too late. You've already got the injury. There's no way of going back in time and changing it and undoing the injury. Therefore, your only option going forward is to deal with it in a highly effective manner. Oh, let's go back one more. Once you understand what caused an injury, you can prevent new injuries coming about because of that same ignorance that caused the first injury. But once an injury is there, you have no option but to deal with it effectively. Well, I mean, you don't have to deal with it effectively, but the best option is you've got to deal with it effectively, because the only other option besides that is to commit suicide, which that's not what we're preaching here. So the injuries that I've had, I've always looked back and tried to figure out why it was, and it's always ego-based, typically, in some form or another, or carelessness. And after the injury, all you can do is deal with it. So what I do when I have injuries, I just feel it. I try to work with it. I try to be more gentle with that area, and I try to work through the injury. I don't favor that injury per se. Like let's say, give you an example. I hurt my knees. I went backpacking, had too much weight, and I went too far distance. I come back home in a couple of days, my knees are killing me, and I was like, oh man, I screwed up. I shouldn't have done that. My ego. I didn't follow baby steps, so I didn't quit walking because of it. However, I paid attention to the pain. I paid attention to it and tried to deal with the pain. Try to do things to stretch it out gently, but it didn't really go away. So it's just something you have to live with. And obviously I'm not going to do it again. If I go backpacking, I'm going to use baby steps to get myself back. And also I had to deal with all the mental jargon and pissed off at myself for being stupid. And you just have to deal with it. And the only way you deal with it is by looking at it, feeling it, experiencing it, and questioning it. And again, it goes back to all those principles that I constantly preach about on Following the Way of Growth. Notice that principle 1 is apply yourself. So that means you have to actually deal with the pain. To deal with the physical pain, you have to deal with the mental pain of screwing up, the mental pain of not being able to train like you normally do. But again, there's other training other than physical. There's physical, there's mental, and spiritual. So even though you're not able to train physically, you still can train mentally and spiritually. So, and again, fighting, as far as MMA goes, fighting, the core of fighting is dealing with another person. So if you deal with all these emotions and mental stuff going on and the pain, then you're also going to be able to deal more effectively with somebody you're going to fight in the future. So again, you have to deal with all the emotions, deal with all the feelings, experience it, willingly experience the pain, instead of sending agitation and irritation to the repulsiveness to the injury. Send love to it, and look at it and feel the pulsation, and don't be mad at it. Look at the injury and say, you know what? So what? I got an injury. I can't train. Experience the injury fully, and maybe gently work with the injury depending on how you can, and just feel it, experience it, and look at it as another challenge, and look at it as an opportunity to grow. Like I said before, everything that happens to you in this life is an opportunity to grow from, even though it can be extremely painful and difficult to deal with. You have no real good option but to deal with it, so deal with it. And like I said, you'll be a tougher man because of, look at Frank Mir when he hurt his knee in that motorcycle accident. You know, for a while he's, you know, feeling sorry for himself, having a pity party. Again, pity party is an ego thing, and so it's an opportunity to grow, and it's an opportunity to try different things. You know, do things that you normally couldn't do because you're always MMA training or focused on physical. You know, find some more spiritual things to do, or other things to involve yourself that don't have to use that arm. And you know, it's a expanding opportunity to learn how reality really works. And you know, that's basically what I had to say on it. And let me just read a little bit what I had sent him in a message. I said the heart of fighting is dealing with things. So even though you aren't training physically, that doesn't mean you can't train mentally. Learn to deal with the frustration of things not going your way. Because in a fight, things don't always go your way. So dealing with this frustration now will help you later in fights. So here's the way I look at it. The highest level of martial arts is dealing with everything, enlightenment. And that's what enlightenment is about, dealing with everything. And MMA is just a very specific example of dealing with a specific person. So focus on the greater martial art, which is enlightenment training, falling way of growth, which is applicable to MMA as well, and to anything. So learn some high-level, non-physical, you know, talents, and then later on you'll be able to apply it to MMA when your physical stuff comes back. You know, when life deals you problems, you got two options. You can go the negative way. Oh, poor pitiful me, look what I can't do now. Look what I can't do. Or you can look at the other way and say, okay, this is an opportunity for me to try something I never would have tried before if I didn't have this injury. It's actually an opportunity disguised as a negative. So use it, and don't allow yourself to go into the negative. Go do the positive. Go watch the positive training video I've done and get the mind straight. Go read a book on, you know, how to deal with injuries, how to deal with loss, because you're going to, trust me, you're going to get older like me. You're going to have more and more injuries, and the sooner you can learn how to deal with pain and disappointment and misery, the better your life will be. And life is not about being happy, it's about being less miserable. So learn how to be less miserable in the situation you're in. This is the next thing I wrote. When life changes, you have to change with it. Find a new joy and actively seek it out. Explore different aspects of yourself, maybe even your feminine side. Maybe read a book on dealing with disappointments, because you aren't the first person to experience disappointments. You ain't alone in this world. Whatever you've experienced, somebody else has more than likely experienced it too. And I point out, you check out my blog on Falling the Way of Growth. Use those 9 principles. Deal with yourself. And the more you can deal with yourself, the more you will be able to deal with others. And again, the link's the first information section in the video. So go check that out. What you learn during this time will greatly benefit you in the future when you're least expected. Remember, life is about growth, so make sure you are learning everything you can from this experience. Again, learn. No matter what happens, if things don't go your way, it's not a point to kill yourself or to feel sorry for yourself or pity party. It's to learn how to deal with things when they aren't going your way, because that's where a real champion shines. Not when things are going his way, it's when things don't go his way. How's he going to deal with it? So, and really, if you can't deal with these injuries effectively, then you really have no business being in MMA, because it is the sport of pain. So, okay. So basically, that's my deal on it. Just, you got to deal with it. Look at the anatomy. And again, anatomy, I'm talking about the body, but go read books on how to heal injuries quicker and stuff. And again, it's about doing the spiritual training prior to this, so when things do happen, you're already mentally prepared how to deal with these kind of things, and just learn how to deal with the injury. Let's see, there's got to be something else. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. Don't let it get you down. Deal with it. If you can't have a positive attitude in dealing with pain, then you really have no real business being in MMA. And as you get older, pain is a constant. So the sooner you can. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Learn to eat simpler so your body heals. Learn to be in harmony with life so you heal quicker. So when don't fall into the trap. Oh, poor pitiful me! I'm going to go eat McDonald's every day or eat nasty foods because I feel sorry for myself. Do not allow yourself to get in a pity party, because you will wind up making the problem worse instead of better. So the sooner you deal with the problem, the better. And Lao Tzu said this: since the sage deals with problems, he does not experience them. And unless you experience it, unless you're willing to experience this problem, the more you will have to experience it by running from it, and it'll just gain steam on you, and you just create a bunch of problems. So do not run, face it. Anyway, and also, I know what I was going to say, make sure you use your MMA skills to look at your own spirit as an opponent. So use the same things that you would use to defeat an opponent, and then apply that to yourself to learn how to defeat yourself. You know, the whining, crying, feeling sorry for yourself. So, you know, it's an opportunity to get humble, seek help from other people. And so that's all I really have to say. Good luck in your healing, and spiritual healing, and your physical healing. And learn as much as you can from the circumstance. Until the next video. Later, folks.